Are you an excellent coach, consultant, or professional entrepreneur who wants to scale your business and you want to implement high impact marketing strategies that can actually bring in high net worth clients, high value clients, get you more partnerships, get you more opportunities? Well, that's what this video is all about. Today, I want to share with you how you can use a high impact podcast strategy to really not only build your brand, but build your revenue like nothing else. Bring in these really premium high-end clients. So thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to this channel right now and hit the notifications so you don't miss any content. I release new content all the time. So high impact podcasting, what is it? And what do I mean by high impact? Well, I wanted to share a quick story with you about podcasting and some of the mistakes people make, and then the shifts that I made and that I teach my clients that completely changed the game for me in my revenue in my business. So when I first started my podcast about 4 years ago, I got zero return after a year. One whole year, I put money and time and effort into my podcast, and I just didn't have the right strategy, all the way down to the title of my show, just was not the right strategy. And so it brought me zero return. And this is the same problem I see when people are either running a podcast or they're starting a podcast. They don't have a clear strategy about what they want that podcast to do. And here is one big tip for you. Always monetize everything you are doing in your business. Why would you want to continue to pour out resources, pour out your time and your energy and not make any return on your investment? It doesn't make sense. So if you're thinking, I want to do a podcast, or I have a podcast and I'm just putting out value into the world and trying to be seen, well, okay, but what if you could make money from your podcast, and maybe not even in the way that you're thinking? A lot of people think, I want to build up my podcast to have this big audience and have, a million downloads, and then I'll get sponsors. Well, that's one way you can use a podcast, but I want to share with you a simpler method, and also how you can make it a predictable system in your business that can bring you high-end clients. All right, so let's dive in. The very first thing that you want to think about is the strategy behind your podcast. Now, even if you've already got a podcast going, you can still make a shift and change your podcast, or you can start a new one. Not saying you have to give up the one you're doing, but you can think about starting a new one. Now, I'm going to talk about, when I talk about high impact podcasting, I'm going to talk about both hosting your own show and guesting. And the reason for that is because I believe putting two of these things together is absolutely a game changer, and it can be in your business just like it is for me and my clients. So using both the guesting strategy and the hosting strategy in the way that I'm going to share with you will make a difference in your revenue. Okay, so the first thing is your show has to be specific for the clients that you're trying to attract. See, a lot of people are putting a show out there and they're making it about the audience. Well, yes, there's an audience, right? But what if you flip that and you start thinking about your show being for the people that you want to build connections with, the people you want to build relationships with, the people that could be potential high value clients or partnerships or opportunities for you in your business? This is how your business can grow and expand much faster. Because the reality is, it takes a lot of time to build a big audience. You might have to throw money at it, run ads, and it's only a small percentage that get to that level, that a small percentage that get to the Lewis Howes or the Joe Rogan level, right? So think differently when you're trying to really build your business, because most people stop doing their podcast after 10 episodes. Do you know that most, like 80 something percent of podcasts stop after 10 episodes? Well, that's because there's time involved, there's energy involved, there's money involved. And so if it's not bringing you a return in your business, you're not going to want to do it for very long, right? Now, I happen to be in a good place in my business 4 years ago. And so I was putting the money into it. I was thinking about the long game. But what I realized is I kind of had some gaps and some breakdowns in my strategy. So I actually changed the name of my show. I changed up a little bit who that show was for, but I started thinking about my show differently. And when I did that, everything changed. So number one is, who are you looking for as these high value clients? Who are the people you need to reach? And who are you looking for partnerships? Who are you looking for to get you bigger opportunities? Look, we're all in this to build our business, right? And if you're doing your podcast for other reasons, then that's fine. I'm not here to tell you that's wrong. What I am here to show you is how you can utilize a high impact podcasting strategy to really grow and scale your business and make crazy revenue from it. Okay, so the first thing is, who are you trying to reach? And I really want you to think about leveling things up. So you want to bring in those premium clients, those high value clients, those high net worth clients, or people that could be your potential clients, people that could get you bigger opportunities. So start leveling up your thinking about your show. All right. The second thing that you want to make sure that you do is make sure the name of your show and the description of your show is going to attract these really high-end people. So when you reach out to them to invite them to be a guest on your show and interview them, they will want to say yes. In fact, they'll feel honored. They'll feel honored to be on your show. So often the name of the show or the what the show is all about doesn't really resonate with very high level people, and so they'll say no to you. I get so many applications every single week, people wanting to be on my show, but I'm very, very picky about the people that I bring on my show. And so I actually go out and invite the people that I want to be on my show. And the reason I do that is because I have a strategy behind what I am doing. They either can be a high-end client for me, they can be a partnership for me, and I can be a partnership for them. We have maybe the same audience, and there could be some collaboration there. They could be a referral partner there. They could be an opportunity. There could be opportunity for both of us. And so I look at my podcast like that. Now, the great thing is I still get to build my influence. I still get to be seen. I still build that visibility. I still build that attention in the market. And we know influence and visibility and attention are the new currency, right? But you've still got to have the right strategy to bring the currency in. And so when you start thinking about, okay, who are the people to put on my show? That could be one of those things I talked about, then you start doing things a little bit differently. So make sure the name of your show, the description of your show is more for them. It's more for them than it is for you. When you do this, again, they'll be honored to be on your show. I get very few no's, very, very few no's. And most of the time, if I get a no, it's because they say, Anne, I just don't have time to be on any more shows or do any more podcasts or whatever that is. That's fine, right? But it's very seldom that that happens. Why? Because the name of my podcast is Expert in You. And so I only put people on my show that I consider to be experts. All right. So number one is know who you are trying to reach with your show. And I'm not talking about the audience here. I'm talking about the people you have on your show. All right. The second thing is make sure the title and the description of that show is going to be something they are honored to be part of, that they're honored to be on, and they would gladly want to share it. It would make them look good, right? So think about that. The third piece of this strategy that you really have to dial in is you want to shine a light on them. You make the show about them. So often people make their podcast about what they're doing, and they might have a guest on there, but then they continue to sort of like pump themselves up. Well, that doesn't make that person want to share your show. So you want to make sure that they are proud to share the show that you've done with them, the interview that you've done with them. You want to give them a great marketing asset that they could proudly share across social media. You're still going to get that reach. Look, when I interview people for my show, I always have my branding in the background. And so people can see, oh, she's got books, she's got a magazine, she was on Who's Who, she's got things going on. They can see all that. I don't have to talk about it, or I don't even have to share it, because they can see it. And so there are ways to position yourself on your show so that you build that credibility for yourself. And also, when you just have great conversation with someone, you are able to interject into that conversation, and people can clearly see your expertise and what you are all about. So you don't have to sit there and make the show about you. All right. So you want the show to be about them. You want to shine a light on them. You want to shine a light on their brilliance and what it is they do. And they will happily want to share that show. The other thing that happens when you cross promote and they share the show is you will build backlinks. It might come up on Google. There are so many other ways that that show will be seen and heard. And so think about the long game here, right? Not just the short game. All right. Step number 4 is you are building a relationship with this person. And so you want, I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. This is all part of what I teach my clients, but you want to make sure that you not only have a way to build that relationship with them before the show, but you also want to keep that relationship going after the show, because there's opportunity there. When you are building a relationship with this person, there are other opportunities that you can uncover together. So first of all, if they could be a potential client, you want a way to uncover that when you're doing the conversation with them. And then you can actually just invite them into booking a strategy call. I'm able to do this all the time. I even do this when I guest on podcasts, and they'll say, oh my gosh, Anne, we need to talk. Yeah, let's book a call. Let's look at what that looks like for you. And so I get high-end clients like this, and you can do this too. So you want to make sure that you have a way to move them to a strategy call. But maybe you do not uncover that they need help or they're not looking for anything, but they could be a great partnership. Then you want to also move them to some sort of a collaboration call or a follow-up call, or talk about how you can work together, the things that you can do together. All of this takes that relationship one step further, and it really makes your podcast higher impact into your business, so that it's doing multiple things in your business, not just putting out a podcast with content. So think bigger, expand your thinking around your podcast, because so many people are like thinking in the box, right? Or they think, I want to sell my course, I want to sell my book, I want to drive people to my email list. All of those things are fine, but they don't always mean there's a return on your investment. But that doesn't always generate revenue to the level that you could be generating revenue. So for example, if you're selling a little bitty course that's not worth very much money, and you're putting, this much money into your podcast every single month, well, you're going to start losing money and profitability, right? And that doesn't have to be the case. So when you are bringing in high value clients, when you're getting high value clients from your podcast strategy, whether that's guesting or hosting, again, I recommend both. But when you're bringing in really high value clients, wow, I mean, you could go years doing your podcast and be making money. So it's just a much more powerful way to think about your podcast. Also, again, 87% of podcasts don't even get past the 10th episode. That's crazy. My podcast is in the 9% right now. We're working to get it up to the 1 or 2%. But you know what? Even if we don't, it doesn't really matter to me. The only reason I want to do that is I'm building up the media side of my business for sponsorships. But look, even if I don't get it into the top 1 or 2% anytime soon, it's feeding my business. It's feeding my business clients. It's feeding my business partnerships and opportunities. And so that's the way I look at my podcast strategy. I have the short game, and then I have the long game. And if you're going to be in the long game, then you've got to make sure that you're really making money from your podcast now. All right. So I gave you the steps to making sure that podcast can bring you high revenue. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is high impact guesting. And this means you pick and choose the podcast that you want to be on, where maybe the host, think about this, not the audience, the host could be a potential client. The host could be a collaborative partner. The host could be a shared opportunity. The host could be a referral partner. The host could be a JV partnership. So when you start thinking about guesting on podcasts that way, you're going to end up shifting how you are doing things. So I hope you found this valuable. If you want help implementing high impact podcasting into your business so that you have a rinse and repeat predictable system that can feed your business high value clients, bigger opportunities, collaborative partnerships, affiliate partnerships, all of those things that maybe you're out there struggling to do, then we need to talk. Book a call with me at acarden.com and let's talk about how we can implement this into your business. And one of my clients implemented this in, and literally once she got it up and going, within a 3-day period, she closed $50,000 cash in clients. So she said, this is crazy the way this is working. Yes, it does work like that. It can work like that when you have it set up in the right way. So I'm not making any income claims, but I am telling you it's one of the things that I do in my business and also teach my clients that is a game changer. So have an amazing day. Book a call at acarden.com if you are looking for high impact marketing to be implemented into your business to get high value premium clients.